I've got some bad highway news for you. There is an overturned semi-trailer on 275 South in Tampa, just before the West Shore Boulevard exit. The left lane is blocked, so drive safely and time wisely.
Brian Clinton, and you're listening to WMNF Tampa. They do the dog, y'all.
The opinions presented on the Healthy Steps show are the evidence-based opinions of Dr. Fred Harvey, the callers, and his guests. These are not the opinions of the staff, the volunteers, or the board of WMNF. The information provided on the show is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease. There is no implied patient-physician relationship in these calls. The nature of the calls is educational and informational only.
Why, shiver me timbers, it's Monday in the world, and there is no better way to embrace this day than to share it with you. Yes, you, my beguiling friend. Welcome to the Healthy Steps radio show here on WMNF Tampa, the only little community radio station that our dear friend Junior Crehan would ever stream or support by joining this circle of friends, and you too can stream and support us as well at WMNF.org. Today is Ask Me Anything Monday. Have you been sitting at home with some medical question or concern? Do you know someone that has an unexplained ache whom you'd like to help? Are you finally getting tired of all those foul rabbit holes and warrens that you've gotten yourself into in that vast wasteland of the internet? Quit making life harder on yourself than it already is. Just give us a call at 813-239-9663. Irene is sitting in the control room like the patient angel she truly is, just waiting to take your call. So once again, that number to call is 813-239-9663. You can also send an email to dj@wmnf.org or text us at 813-433-0885. Good morning, Dr. Harvey. You've got another Ask Me Anything Monday set up for us today, so let's get started. What's the skinny today?
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Bill.
Oh, my pleasure, as always there, Doc. I'm looking forward to a fantastic show as usual.
I am too, and I'm really just, it's so hard to keep up with all the stuff that comes at us information-wise. And I know that most people are confused about supplementation and, really what to do. There's so much information on the internet. I have patients that come into the office with bags of different supplements that they have heard from this guy and from that guy and from this woman and from that woman and all over the place. They just keep adding more and more things that sound really good. And I know that they really want to be healthy and they're really trying to find solutions, but it's really difficult sometimes because we have a very skewed way of looking at our health through the lens of illness. And that's really what we've had for the last, century and a half of medical care directed by my colleagues, the allopathic doctors, where allopathy looks at things that are other, foreign, and goes to war with them. It's a very patriarchal kind of way of looking at things. A very top-down. We look at this thing and try to kill it. Well, oftentimes a thing is part of our body. Our immune system is doing autoimmune disease, and then we try to suppress our immune system when we get other problems. So often, researchers are looking for magic bullets. They're looking for line items, and they do everything framed in an illness direction because that's what they were trained to. Western medicine is brilliant at describing illness, labeling illness, and then blaming the illness, and then taming the illness with some kind of intervention that's usually toxic. And this skewed way of looking at things where we can find magic bullets is not the way life works. It's not the way biology works. Life is a symphony. Your body is an orchestral production of the most marvelous nature. All things work together. Your immune system communicates with your nervous system, communicates with your vascular system, communicates with your gut, and all around and back again. And researchers, I just read an article this weekend again. I do that all the time. And I read this article about omega-3 supplementations. Omega-3 are the fish oils. Omega-3 fatty acids are 10% of our brain, a lot of our body. They keep things stable. They make things fluid. They make red blood cells slip through your tiny capillaries with ease. And so we know they're very important. And we know that we have numerous articles, studies that show that there are benefits from actually having higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids in your body. But Western medicine always has to find a profit margin and a line item. The line item is part of the profit margin. And so rather than just looking at what happens when people get good old cod liver oil or, Norwegian extracted fish oil, which is just basically fish bodies pressed and have the oil extracted, and then you put it in a jar. Well, they make sure it's clean though. Norway and Scandinavia has the highest level of scrutiny of this food product. They don't want any toxins in it. And there are some really good producers there, and they've been using it for years, and people have benefit. We know it. But drug companies want to make a profit. They can't patent cod liver oil. Not going to happen. They can't patent fish body oil from sardines or whatever. But they can patent things that they've altered chemically. And so they're always on this juggernaut to find a new kind of drug they can charge more money for. So I was reading this article. It says association between achieved omega-3 fatty acid levels and major adverse cardiovascular outcomes in patients with high cardiovascular risk. And it's really weird what they do. First, the drug company makes this thing called a carboxylic acid. Well, wait a minute. I'm looking at an omega-3 fatty acid, not a carboxylic acid or any other kind of acid. These people have been studying for years all these different types of omegas. They try to make it up so they can make money on it. Omacor and Loveza and Omtrig. These are omega-3 ethyl esters. So they take these wonderful fish triglycerides and they chemically attach an ester, which is another organic molecule that makes it more easily absorbable, apparently. Well, that's not what we have normally eaten from fish or from seaweed or from algae. These are not the normal things. There's another one. They're called more ethyl esters. Vazcepa is another one. It's called ethyl icosapent. Well, ethyl icosapent sounds like a drug. It doesn't sound like cod liver oil to me. The actual omega-3s do sound like drugs too. Icosapentaenoic acid, docosahexaenoic acid. Yeah, but those are just chemical names for naturally occurring oils that occur in the body of fishes that really benefit our bodies. And so the article that I read said that among patients treated with omega-3 carboxylic acid, the highest achieved levels of omega acids were associated with neither benefit nor harm in patients at high cardiovascular risk. But you have to remember, they're trying to get this drug to be an FDA-approved medication, so insurance will pay for it. So why would we want to even take that stuff anyway? Why don't we just eat fish? Well, fish might have mercury in it. So cleaning the fish oil is not a bad idea if we're going to be looking at eating tuna for our oil source. But eating sardines and anchovies, seaweed and algae, these actually, and flax seeds and walnuts, there's so many good food sources for omega-3 acids that we don't really need to be taking them in drug form. And these aren't drugs and they're not going to treat heart disease anyway. So these are some of the things that researchers just astound me with. One, they're all paid by pharma doing these kind of studies. When you look at the conflict of interest notification at the end of this study that I was reading, it's a page long of these researchers are employed by, paid by They all have like 10 different drug companies. Here's one that actually gets paid by Danone, the yogurt people. I mean, it's all over the place, right in our faces. So this, from my perspective, proves that these people are biased. They have a goal. No matter what question they ask, they're trying to get a certain outcome. Like the guy that tried to disprove that chelation therapy actually works. First, he proved it. And then he came back, and it took 5 years of good data collection to prove it. Well, they cut the second study short at a year and said it doesn't work. Well, the data showed up at the 5th year for the benefit. And so I think they cut it short so they wouldn't actually have to publish a second study that proved chelation therapy worked. And so these people are trying to prove, well, not for the drug company, I think, they're trying to prove that the drug works, but they ask dumb questions because no functional medicine doctor would ever thought that a single fish oil pill was going to actually change it. So they do. They ask ridiculous questions. And they're asking for drugs or, fish oil extracts that are altered to do what people do. And so what I'm saying here is that why would we look for a chemically altered fish oil when we could just eat fish? When we could just eat some walnuts? We could just exercise a bit more. But it's interesting that they really twist these studies. And so they do it on healthy people. And healthy people don't tend to actually get a lot of benefit from intervening because they already have good fish oil levels and things like that. The other thing is, this was supposed to be a 5-year study. They ended it at 1 year. So they didn't actually do a long-term study. And then, part of the planning for these studies was that they were going to include statins. Everybody had to take at least 4 weeks of a statin to definitely alter their risk. But what's interesting is, just to help you direct on something very simple, most fish oil is rancid. There have been clinical studies that showed that much of our over-the-counter fish oil is toxic. And if you want to find good fish oil, let's see, what was this study? This is a multi-year rancidity analysis of 72 marine and microalgae oil omega-3 supplements. This was published in 2023. And they found that out of 72 tested, 49, I believe, but 68% revealed, 68% of the flavored ones. So your lemon and strawberry and tangerine flavored, they were mostly polluted. 68%, 13% of the unflavored consumer products. Well, rancid stuff tastes rancid. And so you're going to know it. They have to cover it up with these weird flavors so you don't notice it. But rancid fat's bad. You can guarantee that you don't have rancid fat. If you look on the label of any fish oil that you buy, no matter where you buy it, if it says IFOS in a little logo on the back or on the front, IFOS is the International Fish Oil Standard. And the International Fish Oil Standard is the most strict assessor of fish oil. They will actually look for rancidity. They'll look for petrochemical toxins like pesticides. They'll look for metal toxins like mercury and lead, and they will tell you have a clean product, and they will tell you if you don't. And so if you have an IFOS on there, you know it's clean. If you don't, you can't be sure. But you can be sure that if you call into this station, you're going to get to talk to me today, and I will answer your questions. This is Healthy Step Show.
That is absolutely true, and I do have callers. I've got Sarah and Gary. But if you're just tuning on in, we welcome you to the Healthy Steps Radio Show here on WMNF Tampa, and you can participate as well by calling 813-239-9663 or continue sending your emails to dj@wmnf.org. Good morning, Sarah. How are things in Wesley Chapel?
Just fine, thank you. Yes, Dr. Harvey, I'm calling for a friend. Her 26-year-old daughter was diagnosed in the last month with stage 3 colon cancer.
Oh, my.
And, yes, and she is a childhood cancer survivor as well. And,
what is she have as a child?
I don't know how to pronounce it. Something like rum bum, something with a rum sound at the beginning. I don't know what it was called. But anyways,
yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Tell us more.
Okay, so she's very into natural eating, eats only organic, only eats at Whole Foods, no sugar, nothing. So she's a very healthy young woman. And she's because she's has such a natural outlook on eating and living, she is opposed to doing chemo, which of course they're recommending. And I'm just wondering, where would you start with a patient like this, 26 and stage 3 colon cancer?
Well, I think that I'm not sure which cell type, et cetera, but if it's stage 3, there are definitively good studies that show that intervention can actually help prolong longevity. 5-year survival goes up if you do some of the things that are recommended. A stage 3 cancer can be really bad. And I don't know whether this is an aggressive cancer or whether it is not. Aggressive cancers really they're aggressive. They go fast. So it's sometimes worth it to debulk the tumor. I think tumor debulking is a good way of considering what to do. If you have a burden of something that's trying to eat your body, and you can reduce that burden while you're doing natural things to help improve what your body's doing, then you're probably ahead of the game. By ignoring the God-given science and products of science that actually have proven to work is kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face, I think. And so I think integrative medicine is a really smart way of looking at this. And in functional medicine, we do a lot of support of the human while they're going through aggressive treatments. And I think that everybody who has recurrent or 2 types of cancer deserves a full toxic workup and obviously a genetic workup to find out where the missteps are. Does this person have trouble with MTHFR and methylation that would protect the DNA from further deterioration? Do they have a problem with mold toxins or metal toxins or petrochemical toxins on board? They're promoting more cancer. I think oncology simply deals with the problem at hand. They treat the thing, but they don't take care of the human and look for the reasons the human is so out of balance. They've developed 2 different types of cancers in their short life.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Have her find a good functional medicine doctor.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, and best wishes to the young girl. We've got Gary from Clearwater on the line. Good morning, Gary.
Well, good morning, guys.
Hi there.
My question today is about COVID. The first couple of shots I got were Pfizer, and then I got a couple more. Moderna, and you know what? And my second question is, I'm 70 years old. Is it time to get another shot?
That is a good question for this season, Gary. Yeah, the viruses are going around. Coronavirus has never stopped circulating. Coronavirus is 30% of our annual colds. And coronavirus is what triggers the immune illness called COVID. After numerous injections, I think that the evidence shows that you will not die from COVID. I don't see that they have proven anywhere in literature that getting more shots is more beneficial. They tell us to do it, but I have yet to see solid data that shows that there's actually any further mortality reduction from doing the shot.
And is there a difference on whether you get Moderna or Pfizer?
I'm sorry?
Is there a difference in Pfizer or Moderna, whether you get the different shots?
Pfizer and Moderna are spike protein shots, or spike protein mRNA shots, and the Novavax, which I don't know if it's available here, that is spike protein itself. But as I said, I'm not sure that any further shots would be of benefit for you, Gary.
Okay. All right, well,
If some-
thank you for
I would-
listening.
I'd love to see some evidence that they would be, but I haven't seen any yet. They just keep talking about getting more shots. I'm not sure what the purpose is.
All right, thank you again.
You're welcome.
And thank you there, Gary. And I do have Steve on the line, but I want to start filling up the board before it starts getting too late. And if you're just tuning on in, as I said, you're listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa, and would like you to participate by calling 813-239-9663. And you can also send an email to dj@wmnf.org. Good morning, Steve.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, Steve.
Oh, hey, Dr. Harvey. I'm a healthy 65-year-old, and my family doctor a while back recommended on the fish oil that I take Vasepa 1 gram capsules daily. I do eat walnuts and flax seeds, and I eat fish, but mainly from the Gulf of Mexico that I catch, snappers and groupers.
Uh-huh.
I do eat, sardines and anchovies from time to time. And I'm just wondering, do you think there's any benefit or harm in taking the Vasepa? On my own decision, I just decided I've only been taking 1 capsule daily instead of the recommended 2, just to sort of hedge my bets.
I think the best thing you could do is get an omega check, omega quant, omega index. Different companies do them. Quest has it, Genova has it, the omega quant company has it. But you ought to get your omegas checked and see if you're in the zone. I watch people who have cognitive decline and a fish oil index, an omega index of, say, 2.9, who raise their omega index to the brain healthy 8, and suddenly they think again. And so there's so much evidence out there that taking fish oil is useful, but I guide it. I take tests and find out what we need to do. If you're eating fish and you have a great omega level, great. If you need more, take something in some other form. But I really think it helps to actually look at your levels and find out where you are to guide yourself.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, and you can find any of those tests. You could probably just go to any lab test now if your doctor doesn't want to order them, and just order it yourself and pay cash.
Yeah, but would I quit taking the Vasepa before I did the test for a certain period of time?
Hey, that's a good choice or a good question. You could stop it, wait a month, and see what your baseline level is on your diet, or you could take it on your current dose and see what you look like.
Okay, yeah. Or do both, I guess.
You could do that too. Probably cost you $100 or something to do 2 of them.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for the info. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yes, nothing irks me more than a dark board, so I'm going to give on out the information one more time. You are listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa, and I want you to give a call at 813-239-9663. Irene's waiting to take your call. You can also send emails to dj@wmnf.org. And in a flash, I've gotten Beverly on the line. Good morning, Beverly.
Hi, Beverly.
Yes, Dr. Harvey. I had a question about my husband. He is 65 and had a sudden onset of acid reflux. So we started with some, So a CAT scan revealed he has a hiatal hernia, and though it was clear in his colonoscopy claims that he has some mild colitis. So we started with glutamine, licorice, aloe vera, and sulforaphane to kind of get all of that inflammation under control. And based on your advice, we also did a food sensitivity test. Well, he turned out being moderate sensitivity to broccoli. So my question is, if you would please, can we continue with the sulforaphane, or would that not be recommended if he's irritated by broccoli?
Well, I guess it kind of depends on whether the source is broccoli seeds or some other source. If it is broccoli extract, then I would consider stopping it for the time being. But other things that I know are associated with colitis are, in general, wheat. Even if you're not sensitive to it, it has lectins in it. Agglutinin is one of them, and it irritates the lining of the gut, and pasteurized dairy products.
Yes, and he was reactive to both of those items as well. So is there one source for the sulforaphane?
So I'd stop the sulforaphane and just stick with the food sensitivity and the other supplements you're doing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, because you don't want to be taking something you might be sensitive to.
Okay, will do. Thank you. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
So I'm looking at an email here from a guy named John, and he asked me if I am familiar with the book The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate. That's Gabormate with an accent. And yes, I am. And Gabor Mate is a brilliant physician who's speaking now extensively about trauma and how psychological, emotional trauma can alter our existence. It actually can change our emotional and mental bodies such that they're conditioned to do things that are not good for us. It'll change our physiology and create things like PTSD. And so John wonders about the influence of stress on disease in general and how it relates to autoimmune disorders. Well, autoimmune disorders cause stress, and stress triggers autoimmune disorders. So yeah, if you're in pain with colitis or arthritis, you're going to have increased stress. So it's going to feed forward into triggering more of the same thing because your body's really not happy. So working on the whole being is the way functional medicine addresses humans. It's not like you go into the gastroenterologist, you have colitis, and they give you an immune modulating medication, and your colitis doesn't seem to be as much of a problem, yet you still get triggers when you eat the wrong thing, or when you get a stressful day or a stressful week, or something major happens to you. It's still there. So Western medicine addresses the inflammatory immune imbalance that's associated with the colitis, but it doesn't address the pain body, the mental body, the emotional body. It doesn't actually work on these other things because Western medicine is so divided, it's conquered. It can't get people healthy. What it does is get them unill. So I like to do healthy work rather than ill work. And so what we do is address all these other issues, address the stress, help people get to change. So work on things that can do that. Simple meditation, mindfulness, avoiding triggers, turn off the news, things like that. It's very important to consider emotional mental stress as part of your problem and not a side effect. Do we have callers?
No, we've gone dark, so I'm going to take this moment to remind folks you're listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show, and it depends on you and your concerns, so give us a call. The number is 813-239-9663, or send your emails to dj@wmnf.org. For those of you who are slow with the pen, let me give that number again. It's 813-239-9663. And it seems to always start some sort of a little flash here. Minor miracles. I've got Ann from Tampa on the line. Good morning, Ann.
Hi. I wondered if you could address ear problems, balance problems. I somehow acquired an ear infection and found it intensely painful. It also threw my balance off. I ended up going to urgent care and getting prescribed an antibiotic, and that sort of took care of the infection, I gather. They said my eardrum looks fine now. It's no longer bulging. But they said that the pain that I'm still having is caused by moisture in the ear behind the eardrum. I've I had tinnitus before that. I gather that's pretty common. Is there anything? Is it anything you would advise to assist with that while I'm getting over this this nice surprise here?
Yeah, it's unusual to get such a severe middle ear infection with pus. So that would suggest maybe you have some microbiome imbalance in your nose and throat. Something that will actually alter that is XLEAR nasal spray. It's a xylitol nasal spray. I wouldn't use it forever, but it actually will alter the negative microbiome you have growing there along with the antibiotics. Often that will occur when the eustachian tube, the tube that drains the middle ear down into the sinus, gets blocked because of allergy. Are you experiencing allergies this year?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I was surprised. I did get a super sore throat with it. She thought it was probably strep.
Yeah, likely. And strep is actually inhibited by that XLEAR spray. But you could also, if you're having trouble draining the air, if it's not equalizing and the moisture's not coming out of there, sometimes nasal steroids actually help to shrink the nasal mucosa so you can actually drain the middle ear. As far as the tinnitus, yeah, that's an ongoing thing. Noise pollution and other pollution will contribute to that. But the balance issue, that should recover as you take the pressure off of that. But there are some specific inner ear exercises you could find online that would help you work on that balance.
Oh, good. Okay. Inner ear exercises?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually, they're benign positional vertigo exercises.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any information about lipoflavonoids that you see the ads for reduces ear ringing? I did not really find anything that showed there was evidence to back that up.
Yeah, I just did a whole 15, 17 minutes on the ridiculous nature of line item research done by Western medicine. No, I have seen 20 different line items, magic bullets that's going to fix tinnitus, but nothing does.
Great. That's kind of what I figured. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Ann. I've got, that looks like Trendy on the line. Good morning, Trendy.
Is it Cindy?
Hey,
okay, Cindy.
Hey, good morning, Dr. Harvey.
Good morning.
I am 71 now, and I'm starting to get more tired. And I'm wondering, is that just a natural thing, or is there something I could take to make me have more energy?
So, did this happen suddenly?
Well, the last 6 months, I find I want to sleep more, and I'm a little slower in my walking and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that sounds like something happened. Are you having thyroid problems or cardiovascular issues? Sometimes people with silent heart disease get fatigued.
Well, I don't feel any different. Just the things that I said. I haven't gone to a doctor to look at those types of things.
Yeah. So like you said, you're fatigued. It's sudden onset 6 months ago. And so something shifted in you. Is it thyroid? Is it cardiac? Is it some other metabolic imbalance? Do you have diabetes? People with new onset diabetes have trouble burning the sugar, so they feel more fatigued.
Okay, so you said thyroid, diabetes, and what was the other one?
Basically what I said was go to a doctor and figure this out.
Okay, that sounds good then. I appreciate it because I didn't know if it was just a thing when you're getting older, you get a little more tired, or I know you end up sleeping more, but I just wanted to know.
I think most people do that because they're not taking care of themselves. Now, when you get into your 80s and 90s, yeah, you're going to be taking more naps, but generally your body runs pretty well if you actually are taking care of it. And most people don't just get fatigued. Fatigue is a sign of something else going on. Okay,
that sounds good. I'll go to my doctor and talk to her about it.
Good.
Okay, appreciate it.
Have a great week.
Thank you there. Let's go to Danielle in Newport Richey. Good morning to you, Danielle.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
I was on dialysis for 7 years, and I got a kidney transplant in November, which way we were going. And I'm on tacrolimus and Varsis, and I've always been a naturalist. I took turmeric for all of my inflammatory stuff, and now they're telling me I can't take it, and I'm having a lot of pain that I can no longer endure.
Huh. And why did they tell you can't take turmeric?
They said they ran it by I don't know, it's on that list of things you can't do, like ginger and turmeric, and there was one other one, the stuff that goes in Shirley Temple, pomegranate stuff. So, but I'm looking for something that I can run by the doctor to see if I can take it to help with my inflammatory stuff, because otherwise they want me to take opioids, and I don't want to take opioids.
Gotcha. So, have you tried any other kinds of natural anti-inflammatories?
Such as?
Boswellia.
No,
Boswellia extract is actually not a problem with tacrolimus.
Okay.
But turmeric can be, because turmeric might increase the blood level of the tacrolimus, increasing its efficacy and then causing you some adverse consequences.
Okay. Give me 1 second so I can write that down. Sorry, I was driving. No, I am not. Okay. And can you spell that for me?
Yeah, it's I was thinking about another one already. Going forward, Boswellia. Boswellia is Boswellia.
Okay.
And protease enzymes, proteolytic enzymes. I use one called proteozyme. There's another one, over-the-counter, wobenzyme. Proteolytic enzymes help to reduce inflammation, sometimes helping the pain. Fish oil, well-known, omega-3 fatty acids, well-known to reduce inflammatory discomfort.
I can't take fish oil.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm hitting my 6 months, so they said things will turn once I hit 6 months. So I'll ask them again.
Why do they say you can't take fish oil?
I don't know. I didn't ask. They just said
it doesn't interact with your drug. It's interesting.
Because they're doctors and they don't like natural things. That's how I look at it.
No, there's often some interactions. The turmeric goes to the liver, as does ginger, and it will actually change the metabolism of tacrolimus, so it'll cause problems. But Boswellia and white willow bark don't seem to have any interactions, and they're two very common natural anti-inflammatories. And when you can take fish oil, you can probably take proteolytic enzymes now, but I would ask them.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
I'm my doctors that I have vetted and gone to. I've already fired 4 doctors in the pursuit of finding new doctors moving up to Newport Richey. But my doctors, I have a good network. They listen. They're open to natural things. But I'm still going to the clinic for transplant, post-transplant, and I'm not happy with the care there. So I'm looking forward to when I don't have to go there anymore.
yes.
I appreciate it, and I will look up these things and run them by the doctor.
But you'll always need follow-up with transplant doctors because you're going to be on these immune suppressors forever.
Yeah, but I don't have to follow up with them monthly or bi-monthly. It'll be once a year.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Once you're stable.
Yeah. Right now I'm under their care, so to speak.
Of course.
So.
Yeah.
But all right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care, Danielle.
Yes, thank you, Danielle. Thanks for calling on in. I've got Nick from St. Pete on the line. Good morning, Nick.
Hey, I'm Nick. I'm a nurse practitioner. I work at a golf court. I was calling because I heard you guys talking about supplements earlier. I try to be a little bit more holistic and use supplements when I can.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could give any feedback as far as, since there's no real regulation on supplements, about third-party verification, if there's labels that patients should be looking for, or places, suppliers that, might be more reputable than just whatever pops up when you first search on Amazon.
Yeah, I think it's a really important question because there's so much stuff out there and there's so many hawkers that sell crap. XYMOGEN, Zymogen in Orlando. It is the most forward-thinking nutritional supplement company on the planet. In terms of manufacturing practice, they are the pinnacle of all supplement manufacturers in the world. The FDA is across the street from Zymogen. The FDA has examined Zymogen so many times, it's nauseating. I've been on the board of Zymogen. I've watched what happens there. The president and CEO of Zymogen does such good work, and his team does such good work that when the FDA came to examine them about a year ago and presented a chart that had deficiencies, or a report that had deficiencies, Brian, the CEO, said, no. You very well know there are no deficiencies here. You actually talked with me about this before you submitted the report. So I need you to actually fix the errors that you have in your report, and then I'll sign it. And sure enough, the FDA inspector fixed his errors, not the other way around, where usually the FDA is telling manufacturers to fix their errors. He said, it's fixed. And Brian signed it because they use Zymogen's manufacturing processes to evaluate other companies. Zymogen is so clean that they check the raw material and put it in quarantine on the way in the door. It goes in this big cage the size of my house. And nothing leaves there until it goes through the mass spectroscopy, and the profiles, the chemical profiles, match the sheet that came with the product. If it doesn't, it goes back to the manufacturer. If it's clean, it's released into the general manufacturer. When they start blending these components together, they look at how it's going together midway. They'll actually take a sample out of the big bin before it starts going into capsules or jars, and they'll take a sample and they'll check it. And if it doesn't match the profile that's supposed to be there, that whole batch gets thrown out. And then after it's in the capsule, they take the bottle off the shelf and then they test that to make sure that nothing happened between the mixing and the bottling. And then on the bottles, they have this $500,000 printing press that prints serial numerical labels. It's called an EPX number. If you look at a Zymogen label on the front label, there's an EPX number. That is an individual code for this bottle. This bottle can be traced back to the raw materials, so you know exactly what's in that bottle. This is something that the FDA required of drug manufacturers to start in 2017, but they paid the FDA enough money that they were going to do it in 2024, and they paid them again, and it's still not instituted. We still can't track a pharmaceutically manufactured bottle back to the raw material source because they don't have an individual product label. Zymogen has to destroy labels because they overprint. They try to keep it right on, but they're not allowed to keep these serial labels because they can be duplicated. This could mean fraud. This could mean counterfeit. And so I have a question for all drug manufacturers, all other nutraceutical manufacturers. Why don't you do this? Why don't you track your stuff? Why don't you want your individual bottles to be tracked? You can't counterfeit a Zymogen bottle. If it says Zymogen and it doesn't have an EPX on there, you know somebody's lying and ripping you off. And so I think there's a challenge on the table here for every pharmaceutical company to start doing this, but the chances are they won't, because I believe that there's fraud in every pharmaceutical manufacturer, or they'll already be doing this.
That Zymogen, can you spell that again for me?
XYMOGEN. As a nurse practitioner, you can get yourself an account. Licensed practitioners are the only people that can get accounts from Zymogen because it is high-level intervention. These are like doing drug intervention. They're very, very powerful. And it's really worth it to have a practitioner who understands what they're doing to direct people on how to use these the right way.
Okay, great. Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. Thanks.
Yes, and there's a great education for practitioners on the Zymogen system. Excellent practitioners that I've been working with for years that teach about this stuff. It's brilliant, and it is real medicine.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you for calling in.
Indeed there, Nick. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of our callers that keeps the show, well, healthy. I've got Lee on the line. Good morning, Lee.
Hello.
Hey.
You're blowing my mind with the labeling thing just now. But anyways, I have a simpler question. My lips get dry. I'm from Florida, born in Florida, and this time of year, in the winter, my lips get dry. For years, I've been using, lip balms and stuff, and I discovered years ago that, is it true, is what I want to know from you, that like chapstick and these, I don't want to name the products, but they put alum in the chapstick and it actually shrinks your lips and makes them expand, so you're actually addicted to the product. Is that true?
Well, I don't know if it's true exactly that way, but, chapstick seems to work, but it's also full of petrochemical nastiness.
Yeah.
There's so many good things out there. There's an amazing biodynamic, organic cosmetic company called Eminence. I bought a little container of their lemon lip balm. It's lasted forever. It's so amazing. It's all pure plant extracts. You can find those things, pure plant extracts. But I'm going to suggest that there's a possibility that you may be low in essential fatty acids and that your gut lining may be upset. Because when you get chapped lips, it means that you're having some disruption of your mucosal barrier, and that could be happening the whole way through your system, and you don't even know it. Like alcohol, gluten, different things, artificial things, all these things can cause problems.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I understand that, and you're right. For years, I've been using natural lip balm since I thought, and you know what made me put that 2 and 2 together about the alum is back in the day, Bugs Bunny shows and all that, and they would give them alum, and they would drink the alum, their head would shrink. And
I'm thinking, exactly.
God, if they put it in my lip stuff, it would make my lips shrink, and then it would expand, and then my lips would want more. So
right.
Yes. No, I use natural products, but I was just wondering about that. Were they really like undercoverly, like trying to induce me to get my lips more addicted to their product?
Dude, I find that I trust corporations less and less every day.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm sorry for my minimal compared to the
I love
important things that you're addressing.
No, this is great. Thanks for the call.
Yes, sir.
Thank you there, Lee. I've got Tony, Bill, and David on the line, and just less than 10 minutes of the show left. So let's go to Tony. Good morning, Tony.
Hey, how are you, doctor? Listen, I have a question. My Achilles tendon, the sheath around my Achilles tendon has become painful, and it mostly occurs at night. And if I put my foot on the ground off the bed, the pain seems to go away. I don't know what's causing this. Maybe you could help me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you injure it?
No, but I will tell you something. For 40 years, I was a high school baseball coach, and I would throw every day and push off that right.
Oh, yeah.
And now I don't push off that right Achilles anymore. And I'm wondering if there was some maybe degeneration, and now it's showing up. I have no idea.
Yeah, actually, there could be. Chronic repetitive use injuries do that. A couple of things might be worthwhile. See a podiatrist or a physical therapist about the ankle, see if they can figure anything out. A chiropractor or a physical therapist, an acupuncturist who has a class 4 laser may actually reduce the inflammation around that tendon. Fish oil may help it too. And muscle activation technique may show you where you have a muscular imbalance that's causing that to be irritated. Lots of different things you can do, but hard to tell what it is without looking.
Right. Okay. I hear you say fish oil like 100 times, so I'm going to get on some of that anyway.
Very good. For somebody who has acute inflammation, when you read the label, you want to get the highest amount of actual omegas in it, because you'll see, I've seen capsules of 1,200 milligrams that only have 150 milligrams of omegas in it. But the one I use is a 1,000 milligram cap with 900 milligrams of omegas and a little bit of triglycerides that comes from the fish body. And so if you get like a 900 milligram one, you need to take like 4 of those a day. You want to get over 3,000 milligrams to change inflammation acutely and then cut back on the dose.
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Take care and good luck with that.
Hey, thanks, man.
Well, thank you too, Tony. Let's go to Bill in Gulfport. We're getting a lot of Gulfport today. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, doctor. How you doing?
Excellent. How are you today?
Good. I'll try to be as short as possible. I guess I have some interrelated issues. The latest is I'm trying to cut down on meds because I've had some kidney issues over the last couple of years. Based on my numbers, I was sort of teetering on, phase 3 kidney disease or whatever.
Yes.
Based on my GFR, creatinine numbers and all that. So I think, based on what I read, what I hear, one of the main culprits, I think, is the statins. I've been taking those, because I had borderline high cholesterol. I found out years ago. I was in my 20s. I'm 65 now.
Yeah.
And I would say I've been on statins probably 20 years. And I've sort of, I started on 5 milligrams. That was sort of controlling things. And then I increased it to 10 and then recently to 20. I've noticed I've kind of leveled out. My overall cholesterol level is under 200, but my the LDL, the bad one, is consistently over 100, like 105, 108, and I just can't seem to get that down. And I'm wondering if it's even worthwhile to. I told my doctor I'd like to cut at least back to 10 milligrams because it doesn't seem to make any difference that I'm doing the 20. And I've read that statins can have an impact on the kidneys. First of all, is that true? He told me they have more impact on the liver.
The statins have an effect on liver, kidneys. People on statins for 5 years statistically have a 50% increased risk of getting diabetes. And so using statins to cover up the reason you have high cholesterol is a way of developing other problems. Therefore, I think it's worth it to evaluate your cholesterol with better tools, things like the advanced lipids from Quest that breaks it down and shows you your LP(a), the Cleveland Heart Labs from Quest that shows you vascular inflammatory chemicals to check and see if you have plaque going on. Boston Heart Cholesterol Balance tells us whether you're more of a producer or an absorber. You're going to be more of an absorber because you're on statins probably, but it will give us an idea of what to do to intervene. And then there are causes for high cholesterol like toxic metals and petrochem toxins. And so you might want to get an evaluation like I do on clients. A Nutra-Eval from Genova Diagnostics looks at all those things. It looks at your omega balance, it looks at your toxins, looks at your toxin processing, and behind the scenes damage to the systems that will otherwise be supporting you.
Okay. Well, what was it called? It's from Genova. Nutra what? I'm sorry.
Nutra-Eval, N-U-T-R-E-V-A-L.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I appreciate that. Because in conjunction with that, I'm also, everything that's been happening in the 60s, I used to be so healthy.
We're down to the last 30 seconds, so I'm going to thank you for your input today, and I'm going to have to leave.
Okay. I'll call back another day to continue.
All right. Very good.
Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Yes. Good luck with that.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. So, lots of good engagement today. One good question here: how to get supplements that are regulated? There aren't any. No, nothing's regulated because our system doesn't do that. It only regulates drugs. So you have to actually find a good company like Zymogen. Designs for Health is another good one. Orthomolecular is another good one. And look for companies that actually do good manufacturing process. That's really the key. And also find a good practitioner who actually has already ferreted out. I mean, I'm working with these companies for 30 years. I know who's good and I know who lies. So on that, have a great week. Have a great, I'll see you next week for some more Ask Me Anything, but I got to run because it's 11.
All right there, Doctor, and thank you very much for a great show, and thank you, Irene, for making everything possible in the phone world. And to everyone who participated, we give our gratitude for making this show wonderful. So until next week, take care and stay healthy. You have been listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa. Coming on up next is 5 minutes of NPR News, followed by the Sustainable Living Show, hosted by the GOAT team of Annie Ellis and Tanya Vidovic. Until next Monday at 10 a.m., thank you for supporting and listening to the Healthy Steps Radio Show with Dr. Fred Harvey here on WMNF Tampa, your community-conscious radio station. Stay safe, stay thoughtful, and know that you are loved.